Hi, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, Pajama Gramma, with secret number 10. We are up to secret number 10 already. And secret number 10 is all about the 3 secrets. Now, I'm going to break this into 2 parts because as I was going through the chapter again today and thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, we could do it in one day, but it's a lot. It's a lot to do in one day. So let's break it into 2 days so that we really get this down, because this is how we come up with the 3 secrets that we're going to use in our presentations going forward, whether we're talking to people one-on-one about our new opportunity, whether we're doing a webinar to present our new opportunity, whether we're having any type of a conversation about our new opportunity, we're going to call upon these 3 secret beliefs or actually false belief killers, to present our information and encourage people to participate in our new opportunity. Because what you'll find is that when you share your new opportunity with people, when you share your big domino statement, a lot of people say, yes, this is for me. But as soon as they think, yes, this is for me, all kinds of other objections and false beliefs are going to start popping into their head. And if you don't respond to and answer those false beliefs, even though you know it's for them and they know it's for them, they will say no, and they won't take advantage of your new opportunity because they don't believe one of 3 type false beliefs. And we started this in secret number 9. Remember, we started brainstorming our false beliefs, and I'm assuming the false belief patterns, that you did that exercise where you came up with brainstorm the chains of the false belief, what the false beliefs were, then the experience that most likely caused people or the person that you're thinking about to have that false belief, and then the story that they probably told themselves about that to really ingrain that false belief in their lives. And then the epiphany bridge story, the epiphany you had about that particular belief that got you over it, that you can tell to help them break the chains of that false belief. Now, I don't know if you're like me, but you might have noticed that as you're going through this, if your new opportunity is something that you're an expert in and that you've created to solve a problem that you had in your life, it's really easy to go back, or it's easier to go back and come up with stories from your past and false beliefs that you actually had before you changed, and then remember, well, what experience did I have that caused me to believe that? What story was I telling myself about that false belief that caused me to really ingrain that false belief and make it a part of my life, that it's showing up and popping up now as I'm thinking about the new opportunity? And what story, what epiphany, what happened in my past to help me to get over that? It's so much easier if you're taking people on in my opinion, in my humble opinion, it's so much easier if you're taking people on a journey that you've actually been through yourself. Think of, for example, and I know a lot of people, there's a gazillion people in the weight loss industry, for example, and in the health industry. It's the number one, besides, I guess pornography is really big on the internet, but I wouldn't know. But supposedly there's like this whole dark web, and pornography and everything is like most of the internet. But the internet for the rest of us, health and wellness is huge. It's one of the big 3. We know that health, relationships, and money or business or wealth is the other one. So there's a lot of people that are in that industry trying to sell new opportunities and products and services and coaching to people all the time. Now, who do you think is more credible? Somebody like Kaylin Poulin, who lost 65 pounds and became a bodybuilder. Is she more credible than the young woman that has been skinny all her life that's trying to sell health and weight loss to people? Well, there's a lot of power in these before and after pictures, especially in the weight loss market, because people want to know that you've been through the same journey they have, that you can relate to the struggles that they're having, the situation they're in right now, because you've actually been there yourself. That is so much more powerful and easier to share with people than if you've never actually been through the transformation yourself. So if you haven't been through a transformation, you can do it. You can figure it out. You can use other people's stories. I'm just telling you, it's going to be a lot harder. It's easy for me to talk to people about creating the business of their dreams, because I've done that several times. It's easy for me. I mean, I've actually done it. It's easy for me to talk to people about how to get out of your corporate job and build a business and make it successful. Because I've done that several times. Well, I've just quit corporate America once, I guess. But I've done that. I've actually done it. I could actually talk to people very effectively about dealing with chronic pain for over 30 years or chronic illness. I guess I've had chronic illness, and that involves chronic pain, but chronic illness for 30 years because I've done that. I've lived through that, and I've still had a fantastic life. So it's easy for us to talk about and share and have credibility with people with respect to things, circumstances, events, challenges that we've faced and overcome, challenges that they're probably facing right now and they think are insurmountable because they feel stuck. They don't know how the heck they're going to get on the other side of that. They know other people have done it, but they want somebody who's already done it to show them the way. That is a total aside that I wasn't even going to talk about, but it's very true. So it's a lot easier to come up with what are people's false beliefs when you actually have those same false beliefs yourself. So we did that in secret number 9. Now in secret number 10, we're going to take that a step further because although it would be awesome if we told people our big domino statement and we told them our original Epiphany Bridge story and that got them out of their false belief and they would say, yeah, I want to do this. I want to join you. You can show me the way. You've done this. I can do it if you've done it too. But that's not the way it ever works, especially if we're dealing with something that's either expensive in their estimation or a big life change. If it's a big life change or a lifestyle change with respect to like eating and health, it's usually, although people don't want to think about it, it always boils down to a mindset and a lifestyle change. People aren't going to buy a mindset change with respect to health and nutrition, though. People don't want to be told that they have to change their mind. People don't want to be told outright that they have to change their beliefs. People will dig in so hard if you tell them something. That is why stories and epiphany bridges are so powerful, because you're not telling them anything. You're just sharing your experience and your story or somebody else's experience and somebody else's story, and that is allowing them to come up with it on their own. If you've ever had a significant other or been in a relationship, you probably know what I'm talking about. If you want your significant other, and I'll use my ex-husband as an example because he's not here. If I wanted my ex-husband to do something, anything, no matter big or small, I learned very early on in our relationship and in my marriage that I needed to make it his idea. This is a clear example of how to use epiphany bridges and stories to get what you want and to get things done and to get other people. You're not manipulating them. You're just showing them the way that you want them to get it done. So anything I would need my husband to do, big or small, it would have to be his idea or it would never happen. Just the way he's wired, that he has to think it's his idea. It wouldn't, or it just doesn't get done. I happen to know a lot of men like that. So, and I'm sure it's not only men that are like that, but I've had to deal with lots of men in my life and I've always been in male-dominated industries. And so I've learned that you have to find a way for them to think it's their idea. And as soon as they think it's their idea, it's the best thing in the world and it automatically gets done. That works in corporate America. That works in any organization you're involved in. That works in any relationship. It's all about people coming to the conclusion themselves and saying, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Hey, we should do this. How many times, I can't tell you how many times in corporate America, we'd be sitting in a meeting and somebody, I would, or somebody would give an idea. And then all of a sudden someone else, usually the leader of the meeting, would say, oh, I think we should do this. And then everybody's buying into it and it's the greatest idea, and so it gets done. But that is how we can look at these epiphany bridge stories. We need to help people see in their own way and come to the conclusion themselves that something is not true, that a belief that they've had probably for a very long time is not true. I find this is particularly sensitive when you're dealing with issues that are highly emotional to people. The topic of money is so emotional to people. People have so many beliefs and so many false beliefs about money. It's super sensitive. But all you can do if you want to change people's beliefs about money is you can't tell them. You have to show them through examples and lessons that you've learned. Beliefs about religion, I don't even touch those. People can believe whatever they want. I don't care. Politics, same way. There's some things that people have no real reason for believing, but it is so deeply ingrained in them that they will fight you tooth and nail versus changing the way they believe something or or change their beliefs on something. And so we need to find a way, we do this through epiphany bridges, to bridge the gap between the belief they have and the belief, and showing them that that's a false belief, and the belief that we replaced it with, so that they can choose if they want to. Sometimes they're not going to choose to. Sometimes they're going to continue to stick with their old belief. I need a drink of water. I've got that scratchy throat thing still going on. And I'm talking too much. That's how I know I'm talking too much, is my throat gets tickly and scratchy. I think that's the world telling me, be quiet, get to the point. So for the first part of this chapter, what we're going to do is we are going to take the list we created in the last chapter, chapter 9, and we're going to break those down into 3 core areas, 3 more main areas. Because the false beliefs that people come up with in their mind are going to usually fall into 3 categories. They're going to fall into either the false beliefs about the vehicle, the new opportunity we're offering them. They're going to fall into the internal belief category, which is the belief that they themselves can't do it for some reason or can't make this new vehicle work for them. And then external beliefs, beliefs that things outside of them will prevent them from participating in your new opportunity. So, for example, a vehicle belief will be like, they don't believe that it can work or that it's real. They might think it's a scam. They might think it sounds too good to be true. They might think, whatever. They might think anything to do with the vehicle would be the, any type false belief that has anything to do with your new opportunity, or I call vehicle and Russell calls vehicle false beliefs. And the way we overcome those, of course, are with our epiphany stories, but also by sharing testimonies and other people's stories of success, how other people have done it. Russell used, and he's got an example in here on page, it starts, I believe, on page 136, magnifying glass, 136, and it goes through 138, and that's where we're going to start part 2, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But he gives an example of how he does all this. But we're going to break all of the lists from 9, and then more if you can think of them, into the 3 categories: the vehicle, internal beliefs, or external beliefs. Internal beliefs, are like, I can't do it, I'm not good enough. Yeah, I understand how it's worked for other people. Other people are getting in the 2 comma club, but I can't. Well, why can't you? What are the excuses that are coming up? And then external beliefs. What other things outside of me, outside of the vehicle, that might prevent me from being successful in your new opportunity? Well, it's usually things to do with the environment, the economy, other people, not supporting them or undermining them or giving them a hard time. Competition would be an external belief. Things like that. And then what we're going to do after we brainstorm and we separate out that list by those 3 categories is we're going to look at each of those categories and those lists and say, okay, what is the number 1 biggest thing in this category? And that's the one we're going to really address first with our epiphany story. So that's actually going to become our 3 main secrets and our 3 core beliefs that we're going to break when we create our presentation, our webinar, our sales class, our event, whatever it is. We're going to use these same 3 secrets, these same 3 false beliefs, the big domino. All these things are the pieces that we're putting together to create any kind of a message that we're giving to people to get them into our new opportunity, to get them to join us on the adventure of whatever it is that we're trying to create. So we're going to actually go back and we're going to look at a couple of things from the past that we've worked on already. From secret number 4, we're going to pull out our opportunity switch statement. So how to blank without blank. We're going to pull that out and look at that. Then we're going to pull out from secret number 5 our big domino statement. We're going to write that down and look at our big domino statement. And then we're going to look at what is our one main thing. Our big domino is the one thing we need to make them believe so that all other things fall by the wayside. But of course we know in a perfect world, all other things would fall by the wayside. But normally when we're dealing with human beings, it's not going to happen because we might knock down that big domino. They might know it's for them. They might really want to do it, but all this other crap's going to start coming up. And if we don't address all these other little things that come up with our stories and with our things, and some people call it handling objections, but I don't like that because it feels so salesy and pushy to me. I only want people working with me if they know that it will help them. I know it'll help them. I know it can help a lot of people, but they have to decide it's going to help them, or they won't ever do anything and it won't help them. So the one thing, and then each of the 3 areas, we want to identify what is the biggest thing. So Russell gives his example for when he first did his funnel presentation for ClickFunnels. And let me think of an example from my life. I just did it yesterday. So let's think of, I'm doing one for the restaurant and bar industry for a client. I'm doing a webinar for that. And in that, our how-to without statement is how to get customers beating a path to your door without putting more on your plate. And that's because the big domino for restaurant owners is they wear too many hats, they work all the time, they work too many hours, they're exhausted, they already have so many things on their plate, on their to-do list, that they need help automating something. And so the purpose of this webinar is to show them how to automate all of their customer handling. So the big domino statement for that is, I'm not going to remember it right now, but it's got to do with profitability and success of your restaurant is by automating your customer handling, or putting your customer handling on autopilot. And the only way to do that is through customer catchers. And the whole thing is about putting your restaurant, everything to do with customers, except for, of course, when they walk in the door, because it's a service industry and it's a business that serves people food. We can automate everything except the actual physical experience that people have with your business. And so that is the headline and the big domino statement. And then, I'm sorry I meat-X that, but I'm not looking at it right now. I should know it by now. I've done that presentation dozens of times, but I put it in the 2 statements. And so I'm thinking of that, but I'm not thinking of what that equates in the big domino statement. And then each of the beliefs are, the first belief is how to steal your competitors' customers, and they won't even know what hit them, or they won't even notice. And that would be a vehicle belief. Do they believe that customer catcher can really help them to automate their customer handling? And the belief with that is, no, it won't work for me. So we go through and we provide a bunch of proof that shows, yes, this is working for a lot of other restaurants, so it will work for you too, in testimonies and then in examples. And I actually teach them how to spy on their competition and get their competition's customers coming to them. It's just an easy 5-step process, and anybody can do it. Then I actually show them my favorite place to spy on the competition and do a couple other credibility building things in that secret to knock down that false belief. Then the second belief, the internal false belief, is, okay, it almost always boils down to, all right, I see it works, but I can't do it. For some reason, I can't do it, or this won't work for my restaurant business. So that one, I demonstrate the customer catcher system and show them for a live restaurant how we actually put that customer catcher system into their business, how we built that. And I demonstrate it online for them in about, I think it's under 10 minutes, how that works for their business and that they can have one too. And I show them how quick and easy it is to actually build that and do that. And then I remind them, guess what? You don't even have to do it. You can have somebody else in your organization do it, or we can get somebody to do it for you. Then the third belief is the external belief that things outside of them are going to impact them. And a big thing in the restaurant area, and a lot of fear that restaurant owners have, is that a competitor is going to move in and steal all their business. And so I share an example of how you can bulletproof your restaurant business no matter how many new joints open up in your town or whatever, something to that effect. So I give them an example and then some more examples of how I've worked with restaurants before, and by creating and using this system for them, they get all the customers they could possibly ever need, want, or desire. And it doesn't matter what the competition does. It doesn't matter what happens around them. It doesn't matter how many new places open in their town. It doesn't matter how many environmental changes happen. And I break down then all those false beliefs with respect to outside forces that could impact them. And that's what we're going to do for your opportunity, for your new vehicle, for your new opportunity. Boy, that's a way to mix all my phrasing together. So that's my example from a webinar I did yesterday about how to break those false beliefs down. So what we're going to do is we're just going to, for today, part 1, look at the false beliefs in each of those categories, and we're going to categorize them and identify the number one thing for each category. One for the vehicle, one for the internal beliefs, one for the external beliefs. And I will tell you, after doing dozens of these, the vehicle belief almost always boils down to some form of, I don't believe it's going to work. So you have to prove to them that it's going to work. The internal belief almost always boils down to, I can't do it, or I'm not good enough. I don't think it's going to work for me. And so you have to that's almost always the one. And the external belief is almost always something to do with another thing outside of them that they think is preventing them from being successful. So Russell's is, you can't find traffic for your funnels once you create one. Mine is, you are afraid of the competition and new places opening up in your town. Or it's almost always an environmental or an economic thing outside of you. You're afraid the rules are going to change, the laws are going to change, the competition is going to come in and impact you. Somebody is going to be a hater. I don't know what it is, but it's something or someone outside of you, or your family's going to criticize you, or other people are going to judge you, and you want everybody to like you. That's kind of an internal and an external. But come up with the number one thing for each of those categories, and then tomorrow we're going to turn each of those, as part 2, each of those main things into a very sexy, very curiosity-based, very pithy, awesome secret, because those 3 false beliefs are going to become the titles and your secrets for what you're going to create Epiphany Bridge stories for going forward. They become the basis of everything we do for the rest of the book. Pretty exciting, but it's so important. I'm like, we cannot do this in one day. We need to take a couple of days to really think about and really break this down and make it work for you. So that's it. Go out, make it an awesome day. Get those false beliefs categorized and pick the number one in each category. And I will see you tomorrow as we turn those into awesome secrets, awesome curiosity-based secrets, because curiosity is everything. Bye. See you tomorrow.